Here we are again, ladies and gentlemen, for another show, Retro Wrestling Review, World Class Championship Wrestling Podcast, episode number 7. My name is Robb Helt. Sitting next to me right now in the co-chair, none other than Scottie Wince. You can call him anything you want, but do not disparage the name half of the Texas bunch. All right, so here's what we're doing today, Scottie. We have not been on for a couple of weeks, and the reason is we've been on hiatus. That is due to me and due to the fact that I didn't want to watch this damn show. And so let's just be honest with the viewers. I didn't want to watch a damn show.
Full disclosure, right?
I think you called it the best thing ever. You said it was piss in a snowbank. And so what we've decided, ladies and gentlemen, and get mad if you want to, we hope you don't, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to review the final part of this show, sans the Bundy Fritz match. That actually did not air on TV. They showed clips at one point. That's when Bundy got his head shaved and Fritz retired the champion and woo, yaha, yeehaw. Well, we're going to finish that show today. If you need to go to sleep, this is probably the best show for you to just put on and it'll drift you right there, get you right to sleep. But then I'm looking at the rest of these shows, Scottie, and it is just more of the same, just 1980, 81 style.
Mike Bond versus Al Madrill, part 45.
Yeah, and so I thought, you know what? Let's do this. This week, what you're watching right now, folks, we're going to finish the show. Next week's show is going to be a review show where we're going to tell you everything that happens from this show forward, everything that went on in WCCW. We'll talk about it. We'll go over it. No video. And then the following week, get ready because that is where we are going to do the Christmas night Star Wars. And that is when the Freebirds Von Erich feud began, was that night with the cage door with Terry Gordy. And I thought, you know what? That's the hottest feud going for 2 years. I don't want to take another 2 months, 3 months to get there. Let's just get there and let's go because those 2 years are a wild fucking ride.
Now, before we get there, I can't believe you've been this rude to yourself, and we've been on for almost 5 minutes now. You introduced one half of the Texas bunch. The other half of the Texas bunch would be the man wearing the black Resistol hat and the Rolling Stones shirt, all 5'7", 160, twisted steel and sex appeal. We talking about Mr. Robb Helt. Helt.
There it is. All right. Well, see, Mike Jackson over on the Alabama show, Mike Jackson has, he's completely screwed me because he is no longer doing that on Continental. He did it one time for Bill Ash on the last show we recorded. And so I'm going to quit the Helt gimmick. And yes, I do have the hat. I will tell you this. I told a buddy of mine one time, said, why you wear that hat on the air? He said, when you, in other shows I've done, he said, that man, you need to clean that hat. When you got cattle, you've got to, you know, when you're out working the cows, your hat gets dirty, and I'm not going to sit there and clean the damn thing because my hats are actually used. And so that's kind of the way it works. I have a couple of straws in there, and but this one, I've got a couple of nice felt Stetsons, but this Resistol has been around quite a while. And so we go with it. All right, well, let's jump to it. Let's get in. The sooner we can get in, the sooner we can definitely get out. We're going to do this a little bit different today. The way we're going to do this, we're going to put it right up there above your screen so that you can see it. And we're going to launch it over here on the YouTubes. And we're going with the Texas Stadium Star Wars.
And the reason why I called it a piss hole in a snowbank is because they are using Texas Stadium, which holds close to 100,000 people, and there might be 6,000 people at the most.
Listen to this shit, though. Listen to this announcer. Here, listen to this guy.
Well, Bill, if part 2 is anything like part 1, we're in for a great night of wrestling. Looking forward to tonight's matches.
How much they pay him to say that shit?
Hell, I don't know. All right, here we go. Mark Lawrence, light heavyweight championship match.
Is that Jose Lothario?
It is not.
Just stepping through the ropes from Monterrey, Mexico at 200 pounds, Rene Guajardo.
Rene Lajardo.
Alrighty.
Defending champion tonight at 200 pounds from Mexico, El Sanitario.
El Sanitario. That's him.
I thought he said El Solitario.
Oh, here we go. Listen.
From Lubbock, Texas, Mr. Nick Roberts, your special referee.
Nick Roberts is a special referee. Do you know the semblance of who Nick Roberts is?
In the light heavyweight championship bout for the world title.
It's Baby Doll's dad.
Really?
That's Nicola Roberts' father. That's him.
He was
right
a
there.
wrestler, wasn't he?
He was. That's why he's special referee here. He ran the Lubbock territory.
Oh.
That's him right there, Nick Roberts.
The challenger who is the #1 challenger for this light heavyweight championship of El Solitario. Two men weighing at a couple of hundred.
He probably needed a payday, and Fritz gave him a payday.
Great deal of wrestling and gymnastic style tonight.
Different style of wrestling these two young men bring to the ring, weighing 200 pounds apiece compared to the giants we saw earlier this evening.
Now, he knows anybody with eyes could tell you that the old boy in the singlet is not young. Why are you gonna lie to people like that?
A nice takedown by Rene Guajardo.
Rene Guajardo.
Right. And it is a count of one off the shoulder, Rene, but they fall into the
Definitely a new way to try to do a drop toe hold.
Sure.
I don't think it quite worked the way you wanted it to.
These important bouts. And El Solitario with the mask. They talk to each other, shake hands.
And that'll get the crowd's reaction. Like 20 people clap, dude.
20. That's not good.
You know, the quality of this is insanely good. I wish we had a lot of stuff from 1982 in this quality.
Right. Compared to some of the other stuff we've seen from 85, 87, and 88, this is almost high definition.
Could you imagine if we had Memphis footage from the Mid-South Coliseum or anywhere else like this in this quality? Oh, my God.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Because a lot of times you'll watch something, but you're skipping through it just because the quality is so bad that, you know, you just can't deal with it. So these fans are getting a little bit of what I think they're trying to mimic as lucha. Neither of them are working a lucha style. And I can also tell they're both still working the left side. So I think these are guys that just, you know, were wrestling and then put one under a hood. And they needed somebody to throw out there from one of the other territories, either Joe Blanchard's joint down in San Antonio or brought him in from Amarillo. One of these wrestlers may have come from Lubbock and is with Nick Roberts, and that's why you see Nick refereeing. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good question. I do know that somebody needs to bring back the mask with the glasses on it. That's pretty neat looking.
And what is this shit right here? This is some junkyard dog looking shit.
Pretty much.
It's about 105 degrees in that ring.
It's 105 degrees in the ring.
He wants to Roman Greco wrestle him.
He called the spot in Spanish.
He's the mask one, the champion, and they shake hands again.
I don't know if these
what is this shit?
Well, this is pretty odd.
Well, Rene Guajardo, the challenger.
I mean, people are sitting on their thumbs, dude.
Yes. Well, we've been watching this for a couple of months now, and neither one of these gentlemen have been on TV at all. So if anybody in the crowd is actually a paid customer every week in and out,
I have no idea who they are.
No idea, because you've not introduced them at all. But let's get on the big show and give them the payday. And
I don't know who they are.
Nobody does.
What do we?
They messed the first. Oh, they messed both of them up. Okay. Yeah, we need to make this match over.
Oh, now let's just love on each other again.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, buddy. We screwed up a spot. That'll look good. Let's try it again.
Somebody heel turn here. I mean, Jesus.
Please.
I don't know what we're doing.
Somebody in the eye.
This is fucking outrageously terrible.
This would be a perfect time for Bundy to come in and just squash everybody.
Dude, right?
I mean, look, make the monster you have.
Look, guys, don't turn off just yet. You guys sit through this match, but we've got Carrie and Harley Race on here, which should be pretty good. Not a lot of people really get a chance to watch Harley's stuff. So, matter of fact, I'm going to tell you what.
I wonder
what happens when I do this bar, and I'm not sitting through that ladies match.
Is that who's the ladies match?
Who is that? That's going to be
Third time, I think, would be Charm. I don't think
Rat and Rat. Rat 1 and Rat 2.
Grandma versus Aunt Judy. Winner gets to make the tater salad for Thanksgiving.
I guess. All right, we got Big Daddy Bundy's got an interview, Kevin, and here we go. Let's go straight to some good shit.
So it makes me wonder if they were sitting in the locker room and Harley Race with a cigarette with an ash about 4 inches long off of it, looked at Kerry Von Erich and said, "What's your finish, kid? I'll move."
Here we go.
Because 6 times he's been the NWA heavyweight champion. He'd like to go back and have another shot at it. And that's what this one's all about tonight. If Harley Race wins, he'll get
David Manning with that mop hair.
Flair. If Kerry Von Erich wins, Jay, then Kerry will have that chance that he wants so badly to win against Ric Flair.
Both men waiting to get a chance at Ric
You
Flair.
know, David Manning would be a good guy to have on your Beyond
I
Wrestling
would love
show.
to have him on Beyond Wrestling. I just don't know how to get a hold of him. If somebody wants to reach out to David, that'd be great. I'd love to have him.
Wasn't David at the gathing last weekend?
He probably was, but you know, Gene doesn't shill like that for us. We're not like, you know, that's one of the things too. We'll just turn it down a little bit. That's one of the things too is, you know, people are always shilling for their podcast or they're shilling for be on my show and all that. And I don't operate that way, and I don't want to have Gene do my bidding. So, you know, he's not going to bother him out there. I got a ton of questions for Mike Jackson, but he's not going to bother Mike Jackson with that stuff. So, you know, yeah, he was out there, but I would never have Gene. Hey, you need to get a hold of Rob. Go on Rob's podcast. I come across him as I can. We're on hiatus on that show for a little bit anyway, but we're about to do the into the USWA Larry Burton legal scandal. We're going to get into it from the legal side. We've got all the court filings and everything, so we're going to be talking about that.
Can't wait to hear about that one.
These two are really, I mean, he gives Kerry a good match here.
Absolutely.
Harley was a lot like Ric Flair. In fact, he could make me look good.
Mm-hmm. And Harley was still in his prime right now, so he could do anything he wanted to do, physical wise. I mean, it didn't matter. Even for a guy that was his size. I mean, he looked like your uncle that was changing the oil on your car in the yard, but at the same time, he could kick your butt.
He has another title win coming, and then he'll lose that title a year from now at Starrcade 83. So he's going to get that title back. So obviously, Harley, to agree with you, is definitely in great shape right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he continued to build that up to get that upper body strength to hurl the discus and do all the things that he has to do.
And I hate the fact that Kerry had the looks and the size and had that movie star aura about him, but unless he was in the ring with somebody like this, you didn't want to watch him wrestle.
Well, he was just absolutely, yeah, it didn't make, look at him. I mean, he's just kind of, you know what, though? Hang on. I'm not going to say that he was, you know, dumb. That's not the word. He was very naive about, you know, they said he was very childlike, you know, and just a sweet guy. And I just think that their father did them no favors. And so, you know, very sad.
He made them believe that the world was their oyster because they lived in Dallas and they were celebrities. They could basically get whatever they wanted.
Watch his knee. Bam.
Oh.
That knee looks legit, dude. I mean, that headbutt caught him in the claw.
Caught him with the claw.
I'll move. That's great. I never really knew how the claw went on. Was it a straight like this, or did you get the side claw where you got
sides? You had to get that pinky and that thumb on the pressure point, and that would give you and then you grip the rest of it from the top. And then apparently putting your hand on the wrist was supposed to give you more pressure somehow.
Okay. Why don't you just punch him in the face or kick him in the ball?
Or just stomp on his toes.
Punch on his toes. Remember how he punched on his toes?
Yes. That is a total Texas move right there.
All right. Kerry's out.
And here they go to work.
Somebody's taking a suplex on the floor.
Section, but now it's just got
There it is. Oh, no, you're going to take
Nope.
a PD, baby. Oh,
Nope, we're going to take a backdrop.
Ooh. Harley takes that flat back, doesn't he?
Yes, sir.
There's
I don't
no
care how
protection.
flat you. Yeah, I don't care how flat you take that. It hurts.
How do you train your body to? How do you train your body to not have the natural urge to protect itself on the fall? Or is that the whole point of school?
That's how you're trained to bump. As long as
How do you tell your mind that? I mean, how do you know? Like, I see these guys like Derek King takes this high backdrop, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's going to land on these 2x4s or 2x12s or whatever they are. He's going to land on these boards with a little bit of carpeting. He's going to land flat on his back, and he's going to tuck his chin to not hit his head. How do you remember to tuck your chin and do that? How do you just remember all this?
Training, muscle memory. The more you do it, the more you remember how to do it so you don't hurt yourself. You also got to remember. You also got to remember.
Take a bump. Could you take a bump right? I mean, not with your lumbar being jacked up, but could you take a bump right now without putting your arms down to protect yourself, or is your body gone back to, okay, I'm going because it's natural instinct to break?
No, I'm still in that mindset. If I'm going to fall, I'm going to move my arms. Because you also got to remember, if you land all your body weight on your wrist or your elbows, I mean, you're going to break something real simple.
So you're going to take the bump away from your limbs. Your limbs are going to have nothing to do with whatever bump you take.
Same thing I was taught day one. Your back is the biggest muscle in your body. Use it to your advantage.
It can take the hit.
Absolutely. You can absorb more from your back than you can anywhere else.
But it's natural human instinct to put your hands down.
Yes, it is. And that's why more people have broken fingers and wrists and everything else.
So these guys don't even think about it. Like Harley Race up there, he knows his chin is tucked when he's taking a bump. He just knows always tuck chin, tuck chin, tuck chin. Protect your head.
I promise you, the first time you bounce your head, you'll remember to tuck your chin. That it's not fun.
These guys make it look so good.
Absolutely.
It looks like they hit their head.
Right. And I mean, and at this point, they've probably done 10,000 bumps. So, and that
every once
includes
in a while, you're going to hit your head, right?
Oh yeah, it's going to happen.
And it hurts.
Just the law of averages. You're going to hit your head eventually, or you're going to get hit in the head, or some sort of thing is going to happen to your head at one point or another. There's nothing you can do about that.
Kerry's punches were pretty good. Look at this. Boom. They were pretty good. They were solid. He laid them in. And now Kerry liked to lay stuff in. So I'm sure Harley was digging this.
Oh, absolutely.
Does it get to a point like with you, Scottie, were you one of those guys that you needed? So I'm working you tonight. Are you going to come over to me in the dressing room and say, look, kid, you're new. You hadn't been wrestling long. Look, when you hit me, you fucking lay it in because I need to feel it in order to sell it the right way. Is that the way you were? You needed it?
Yes and no. I mean, I've never told somebody to knock the shit out of me, but I've never been mad if somebody did at the same time. Now, I have told people before, and before we went out there, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm sorry. You're probably gonna hit with a live round or two. It's not intentional. Things happen, and you just kind of go with it.
And then you try not to hit them with a live round.
Right. I'm not trying to hit you with a live round, but if things happen, things happen.
But in the moment,
but at the same time, if you're going to get hit with a live round and then you can reciprocate, that's cool. That's no problem.
Now what about these two guys? How now to me they look like they're working snug. They look like everything's snug. There's not a lot of holes in this match. I'm looking for something that looks hokey, and I'm not getting it. And you hear this crowd right now. They're hot. Now, number one, it's Kerry. Number two, it's not Joe Schmuck versus Joe Schmuck.
Right.
Bam. Look at that short arm punch. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that doesn't look good, bro. Look at it. Look at it. Bam.
Yep.
He bladed him. He bladed Kerry.
I could see that.
I think he bladed Kerry right there. If Kerry's bleeding, he bladed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with those punches, he would have to have bladed him because, trust me, you'll know if he's trying to hard way
he got
somebody
him.
to bleed.
Yep, he's bleeding.
Yep, he got him.
But look at the way they did it. They set it up with him getting his head rammed into that cable cart thing over there, set it up. Then Harley gets in to make the move, and Harley just rabbit 1, 2, and he looked again, didn't get it, boom, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these old timers, they were guys that knew how, according to what I've heard, I've never known this, but apparently these guys, they could hardway you in the eyebrow and split your eyebrow, these old timers. Do you know
right
that
here.
gimmick? Do you know how to do it?
Yes. It's right here at the very edge of your eye right there. Take like that knuckle and don't hit it, go around it. So you want to take it and you want to graze it off that eye.
You're not trying to break a bone.
No, you're just trying to split that skin open.
Yeah,
so if you always notice when they hardway somebody, it's always at the corner of their eye. If they gig them, it's going to be at the top of their forehead every time.
Right.
Or it's going to be in, or most people, if they're too vain, they'll do it in the hairline. That way they can cover it up with hair.
Kerry is dropping a gusher.
Uh-huh.
Not like he did in Chicago against Lawler.
In the armpit.
Well, it wasn't just his arm. He ended up getting all that in his head too.
No, I understand that, but
when he cut himself
blood,
before the match,
yes,
that was so stupid.
Yeah, because he cut himself screwing with a I think he was screwing with a gig in the locker room.
You know, look at this. Look at that right there. Yeah, I can pause right there. Look at that corner post. You see where that canvas comes around and wraps? All the corners are like that. And they all, when they got around them, they all had carpet. So you knew exactly what was under this. Just some canvas and some carpet. Dude, that's pretty hard, dude. That ring is not a trampoline.
No, but I think this one bumps a little better than the one at the Sportatorium because that one is like hitting concrete. That thing doesn't move at all when you bump on it.
They said since it was affixed in there, they said that it was like an old boxing ring. Just kind of the way it. Here we go. Setting him up. Kerry's wearing those white trunks so they can see that juice. Kerry looked good when he bled.
Yep. That's how you always knew when somebody did an interview in a white shirt, somebody was going to bleed.
Yep. Oh, look at that. But you notice Harley's gig too.
When did Harley start bleeding?
Harley was bleeding earlier. Right there from the eye, dude. And look at that, looks pretty like that's not just a blade. Looks like he took a hit.
Yep.
Put the move on now. Race is in trouble. Race bleeding from the forehead, from the mouth, very vigorously. A terrible sight.
You think they've kind of laid it in a little bit?
Probably. I wonder if Harley pulled the move when he bleeds where he sits up on his butt and he's just kind of sitting straight up and he holds his breath. That way the blood comes down even harder.
No, that's a Tommy Rich thing.
Eddie Gilbert did it too.
Eddie did it. Yeah, I think that's a Memphis kind of trait.
Yeah,
right?
it's a baby face thing. Yeah.
Boom. Pop him in the ear. Bam. He's not hitting in the ear, but.
Well, he didn't hit him in the ear either there.
Unless we're talking about ears of corn.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, tell me Kerry
wasn't
built like a Greek god.
He was. Absolutely.
Dude, and he looks, when he bleeds, he looks great. Now we go to school.
I just hate that he. Yeah, what?
Is the key to taking a suplex getting the feet down first?
No, you got to get as flat as possible. If you and the guy don't bump flat at the same time, if you make that rolling bump, it makes it twice as worse.
And you're both protecting each other's heads with your arms, right?
Absolutely.
There you go. Harley looks like he's getting the shit beat out of him. He's got some welts and shit on his face. This is not all fucking called spots here, and I'm going to do this, and you're going to do this, and we're going down to the Wendy's afterwards. They're getting it.
Kerry sagging now as Race puts on the attack again. First one, then the other. And Harley Race, watch this one. Harley coming up to the top. Harley knows how to do this very well. One of his features.
Here comes the flare throw off.
But look at Kerry. Kerry comes up, meets him. And there goes Race with a flying body slam.
The whole stadium shook on that slam, Bill.
The whole stadium shook.
Amount of strength by Kerry Barnett to throw Harley Race off the top rope. Race not expecting Kerry to get back to his feet as fast. Race is in trouble right now.
2.5 counts on.
I wonder if there's a few live rounds going in there.
Measuring him, setting him 4, 5.
And Harley probably respects him for that.
And Kerry measuring his man, trying to put him away.
His neck is turning pretty red.
Flail off to the rope. Shoulder.
Well, even his head
Either man knows what they're
is
doing
just
now. Both
torn
weapons
up.
in an era of almost.
That's a rat right there. That lady that was standing up, she's a rat.
Mhm.
Tonight, either Kerry Barnett who will meet Ric Flair August 15th or Grace who will meet him August 5th.
Once the back into the top, they both go flying out. No disqualification. No, that just was momentum of two very tired.
And this isn't even the main. The main event was, yeah, this is almost over. The main event was Fritz and Bundy.
This a grudge match, a match of Ric Flair really set up. Kerry wanted a chance.
Fritz versus the world's largest tax assessor before he got his haircut.
Right.
Avoid Kerry. Race wanted to avoid Kerry too. But Flair said, either one of you wants me. You've got to battle each other. So that's why they're here tonight.
Goes Race to the top rope again.
He has a chance.
The crowd is still in it. Listen how hot they are.
There he is now. There it is. They roll up. The flying roll up. 1, 2, 3.
And that's exactly how he gave the belt up to Tommy Rich.
Yep.
So that sets up Kerry getting a chance at Ric Flair. Remember that, because next week's show, we're going to talk about everything that leads up to finally getting that shot with Ric Flair.
Yeah, I hate the fact that Kerry can only wrestle like 5 or 6 people and look like, a Greek god inside the ring.
Yeah. Well, that was the end of that show. That ran in July. And so we're now going to move forward. We're going to be able to finally get into the Christmas night episode. So next week on the show, I always forget if our show's weekly or bi-weekly. I think we're a weekly show. And so we have to, record some of these to get them going and get them in the can. And ladies and gentlemen, don't fault Scottie for if we miss a week or we miss 2 or whatever. They say the key is consistency. What I'm saying is don't blame my partner. It's not his fault. Do your Jimmy Garvin. Ain't my fault. It's not my fault that we we talked about you on a show last night about giving away the beads, a bead making kit or something that we could give those away to be able to do the triple threat beard thing like you have going on. Don't blame Scottie, folks, because listen, in the summertime, it is very difficult for an Arkansas kid to. I don't live in Arkansas, of course. I live in Texas, but it's very difficult for an Arkansas kid to not go back to Arkansas in the summertime. And so I'm out jeeping side by side and doing what I am fortunate enough to be able to do. And it gets difficult recording shows because I still do, whether you like it or not, I still have a shoot job. I still have work I've got to do. But at the end of the day, we're going to get them recorded. And like I said on the Continental show, how are you going to miss us if we don't go away? Sometimes we got to go away. And you're going to see us take breaks because neither Scottie nor I make $1 from doing this. We do this because we love to do it. But at the same time, we don't want to burn out. And we don't want the listeners to burn out on what we're doing either. There ain't nobody sitting at home. God damn, I can't wait for next week's WCCW show. Jesus Christ, they're going to have Jose Lothario versus Bill Irwin. There's nobody sitting at home doing that right now. So that's kind of the way I look at this podcast. We're in control of it. We're not out here looking for a bunch of numbers and a bunch of subscribes because Scottie and I have zero plans of making any money off of this thing whatsoever. If it ever came to the point people discover these shows, Scottie, and they go back and like them, great. That's awesome. But this is more for just old school, world-class marks and people that want to see a new territory that maybe they hadn't seen. And so I think it works out good. So don't blame Scottie when we go on hiatus. He's always ready. Gina's trying her best just to get him to do other things and to bother her around the house.
Well, just so you know, I did get a message this afternoon from our good buddy BT asking if we had recorded any more shows yet. So I think that he's got a little fever for the Texas bunch.
BT's always had a fever for the Texas bunch. Now, I do want to comment, though, kayfabe, I do want to comment on your new microphone, Scottie. I got to say that sir. I am digging the new microphone. You decided to get you a little armband thing there and go big time. When are you going to do a full studio, man? It looks like you're getting there.
I don't know. I mean, I can try. I gotta find a spot in the house I can do it in.
Shit, mine changes all the time because I'm always working. We're fixing to redo this room. We're going to treat it, do some padding. We've got other video production stuff that we do. So that's why I'm all over the place. And that's what I love about having a back area by the pool and all that is I can kind of move around and, all that stuff. I'll tell you this, though. I will be glad to get out of 82 and get into that 83 run because the Freebirds coming in. Listen, when you start invigorating Michael Hayes in there, we're gonna back this whole storyline. And folks, listen, we're not going to come out here and we're not going to call it in the ring like we normally do when we do this show next week. We've not got a script, but we both have a list of things that we can talk about and what was going on at the time. We've done our research. We know kind of where we're going, and we're getting set up for that Christmas night, which happens to be the Christmas night, according to BT, that Dave Meltzer, that was his first show to attend. That was when the Observer started, was after that show. And apparently David Meltzer was in there in attendance. I don't know. And honestly, I'm one of those people that doesn't give a shit. People on these podcasts, have you heard them, Scottie? They get into what the numbers were at the places and what the gate was, and then they start arguing over, no, we had 40,000, no, we had 45. Look, I don't care if you had 1,000. That's a lot of fucking people.
Uh-huh.
Why is the big deal to care?
Right. And then for some weird reason, they want to take numbers from, let's say, 1975. And, well, if you equate them to 2026 numbers, it would have been this. And, man, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because if you're equating it to that, that's fine. You also need to equate everything else with it. It all stays relative. If everybody's making $100,000 a year, you can bet your sweet ass that gas is going to be $4 a gallon. That's just $4 to $5 a gallon. That's the way everything works. That's how inflation works. And so, yeah, the only thing that matters about 1970s or 80s money versus today's money is equity. So if I bought it in 1985 and I bought it for $50,000 and today it's worth $290,000, then yeah, I'm doing pretty good on that money. That is where you can equate money to money. But just to say, well, a bottle of Coke, well, shit. My dad used to tell me all the time when I was a kid, when I was 16, I was in FFA. So I was pretty, agriculturally is how I grew up. And I remember my dad would send me to the store and I could get him 2-pack of cigarettes. Dad smoked Camel Lights. I could get him 2-pack of Camel Lights and I could get 2 cans of Copenhagen for me for $7. It was $7 up to 7-Eleven. It'd come out $7 even. 2 cans of Copenhagen, 2 packs of Marlboro Lights. I was 16 years old. The guy knew I was 16 selling them to me, but he knew my dad because my dad always went in there and got a cup of coffee and he knew my dad. And my dad said, hey, I'm going to have my son come in. He'll always be picking up my cigarettes and his snuff, and it's all right to sell it to him. And that's the way I grew up. That's the way it was. Well, dollars were different back then, sure, because I could get all those things. And now 2 cans of Copenhagen, 2 packs of cigarettes going to cost you $50, $60.
Mm-hmm.
But also back then, I know that I made $3.05 an hour was my hourly wage working at the barn. I was at the barns. I was making, cleaning up after horses, horse stalls and all that. You start at the bottom, right? Baling in the summertime, stuff like that. I was making $3.05 an hour. Well, equivalently now, that's going to be $10, $12, $14 an hour. Sure, that it makes fucking sense. So I don't know why people try to compare it. It doesn't fucking matter. It's the same amount of money over time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know? And I'm always, you
times
know,
always, times always change, man. I mean, every generation is different than the last generation. Every generation thinks that they've had it harder, and the previous generation had it.
I heard something today. I was talking to my good friend Rick Gardner. He's got the Silver Stash Ranch down in Cranfill's Gap, Texas. I was talking to Rick this morning, and Rick and I are about to move some cattle down there. And anyway, I was talking to Rick this morning. And Rick told me a quote from years ago that he'd heard, and I'd heard it before too, but it made sense of all times in America. It made sense right now. And it was this. And this is not fucking political. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, independent, gay, straight, black, green, orange. I don't care. It makes it. This is not a political statement. Strong men make easy times. Easy times make soft men. Soft men make hard times. Hard times make strong men. We are in the hard times because the soft men have made hard times. We're in the hard times, and now hopefully these hard times will begin to make, again, strong men. And the last time you had that strong man group was the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. That's the last generation of the strong men. Period. Now we're in soft men, because the strong men gave us easy times in the 90s. We had easy times. And now we're in hard times again because of soft men. And that's where we are. And so, you know, we have to look at everything relative to what it is. Back then, I mean, a ticket to this show that we just watched, probably $5. But $5 back then, I always wondered why you know what my dad gave me for lunch money every day? My dad left $2 on the counter. And $2 fed me lunch. Left me $2 on the counter every day for lunch. So I got to be a senior in high school, and he said, well, hell, you got a job, you can pay for your own goddamn lunch. Well, that's what I did. I just don't think that people understand, you know, that these wrestlers, you know, and that's the other problem is you put these wrestlers in a category and you look at everybody that we're looking at right now on these shows. It's kind of depressing in the fact that most of them are either dead or broke. They're either dead or broke. Was it really worth, I guess if your ego says, okay, is it worth breaking down your body and beating the shit out of yourself just for a few rumbles in the ring with people cheering or booing you? Is that rush of adrenaline? I used to get, so every time I walk into a courtroom, I get a rush, right? There's something that happens when you're in the well where you watch court from before you cross that bar to go into where everybody is, where the plaintiff and defendant and witness. You've been in a courtroom, Scottie, you know how it works. Everybody that sits in the back, that's called the gallery. Everybody over on the other side is called the well. And unless
you call me a criminal,
no, I said if you've been inside a courtroom. So no accusations here, Hoss. But if you've ever been in that, so where the witness stand and the judge and everybody, if you're not involved in the case, you're not going to be in the well. There's something about being in the well. Okay, something to a lawyer, a court reporter, a judge, a bailiff. They get it in their system. Okay. There's something that it's an addiction to doing this and to getting up and performing in front of a jury and making your opening statement, your closing argument, and questioning witnesses and finding those Perry Mason moments. Okay.
You know what it is, don't you?
I don't know. I think it's ego.
It's not, well, it's ego. It's ego, but it's also deep down, some people just crave to be the center of attention. And if you're in a position to where you have a job like a lawyer or a wrestler, to where you walk into a room and everybody lays eyes on you no matter what, because they came there just to see you or just for you or needing you to do something for them. People buy a ticket to the wrestling show. They don't buy a ticket to see the people in the crowd. They want to see the people walk down the aisle and get into the ring. When you go to court, you need your lawyer and you need your judges and stuff.
You get your shine on, and you get to get your shine on, right? But my question still becomes, at what point does your mental or emotional need to be spotlit become more important than the money that you make to take care of yourself? At what point do those two things coincide with each other and or conflict? Because you're not making look, these guys back then, they made more back then than they do now. Now that's sad. When you can make more, there was more money in a sport 30, 40 years ago than there is now. What's the problem?
But those guys could also go 75 miles down the road, have a whole new audience, a whole new promotion to work for, and nobody's seen them because back then wavelengths didn't go that far. So whatever was on TV in your town 30 miles down the road, they didn't see it for 6 months.
I'm a self-professed mark, Scottie. I'm a self-professed mark. If somebody come on our show and they said, all right, Robb Helt, he's just a mark. Yes, I'm a total mark for this shit. Okay. I totally am. Okay, I'm a mark. Now listen, if I'm a mark though, you said I can go down the road for $75 where nobody's seen me, get a whole, or 75 miles down the road, excuse me, go 75 miles down the road, get a whole new audience, blah, blah, blah. But is that being the center of attention enough to, what is it internally that makes you trade that for your health and your well-being and what it's going to do to you? And I know when we were young and dumb and thought we knew everything, we were invincible. Scottie, I was never going to be that guy that's got aches and pains and all these kind of things. I never thought I was going to be that guy, Scottie, but now I'm going to the doctor in a couple of weeks. I've got my elbow right here in my joint. When I squeeze something, when I squeeze my fist like this right here, it feels like I've got a sprained wrist in my elbow. I know what it is. It doesn't take the weatherman to know which way the wind blows. I've got fucking arthritis, Scottie. Mm-hmm. But I need to have that confirmed. I want to make sure that it's not a torn tendon or that I've done something to a tendon. But I think I've got arthritis. And you know what? I'm just going to have to fucking deal with it, brother. Mm-hmm. And you know, here you were a Marine, serving the country. You're a big fucking dude. When you were younger, before you put on what I call negative weight, before you put on negative weight, you were jacked to the max. You were ripped to shreds back in the days of when you were in there in the Marines. All right. Now you've got knee problems. You've got back problems. You've got all the shoulder problems. Probably you've got all these things. My question to you is, was it worth it? Financially, obviously not. We know that, right? Mm-mm. Was it worth it?
It was worth having the experience. It's not worth having the pain.
Right. And that's where
there's a push off to it. I mean, yeah, I guess in hindsight, it's cool to say, you know, I've got videos and pictures and people seen me do stuff and I've done things and there's video evidence of it. Okay, that's awesome. But when it takes me twice as long to get up, or the fact that, you know, you need neck surgery or you need back surgery, and yeah, it kind of negates it, because there's things I want to do that I can't do anymore.
And that's where I never wanted to be. I was never going to be the guy that couldn't. Here is my litmus test for myself. Folks, I'm 52 years old. I am, according to my watch, I have blood pressure that's running between 118 and 125 over 76 to 82, somewhere in that range. My stress level has never on this smartwatch I've got a Garmin, and never has my stress level ever went into the high category as long as I've had this watch. I have great cholesterol. My blood work is great. I've had a couple of bouts with things. I don't have a left testicle. I've had several different cystoscopy surgeries. I've been through some shit, but I'm not broken down. And the one thing that I was going to do was, when I can't take a 4x8 piece of plywood from Home Depot and put it in the back of my truck by myself, that's when it's time to, relegate myself to the living room. Right. But I'm just wondering what would have happened if I would have pursued a job as a heel manager, or, and when I ask you a question of was it worth it, I thought your answer honestly was going to be yes, that it was worth it, because you have those memories that no one can take away. And wrestling afforded you to be friends with people that you would have never met otherwise. And I don't consider you a socially awkward creature. I consider you very guarded now. If somebody were to come up to you in public and not know you and be like, oh, hey, Scottie, I saw you on the WCCW podcast. At first with that, you would be kind of like, hey, man, just give me a little space. Give me a little bit of space, and that comes from what you've been through in the military and where you were and things you've done. Do you feel like, what, ladies and gentlemen, if you're done with World Clash, you can get the fuck out of here, because we're diving into other shit now. But that's, people like when Gene and I sit around and talk at the end, and they like to hear that shit. And this is shit you and I would be talking about whether it was recorded or not. Did wrestling affect or help your mental health? Because when you came out, you were like a lot of other soldiers and warriors. You came out with some ticks, some shit. All of you did. And, you did tours. So all of you came out with a few screws loose. Did wrestling help that or hurt that?
I do have to say that wrestling, I told people this at work all the time for years, that wrestling was probably the best psychiatrist I could have, because I could take everything from the week and I could just build it up and just let it sit. And then when Saturday hit, I'd go out and unleash it on everybody in the crowd, because I was the bad guy. So it was okay for me to go out there and be a complete jerk.
And what if you did at McDonald's? You would be taken to jail, but instead you're doing it at a place that it's accepted. So why not make it a shoot from you, and they still think it's a work, but you're shooting?
Or at my regular job, I'd be in HR every other day. So, it was easier just to keep it up. And on Saturday, I would let it all explode, and I would let it all out within 10, 15 minutes. So, you've seen my matches before. I don't shut up. So I talk the whole time constantly. Whether the guy in the ring talking crap to him, the referee, the announcers, the crowd, I don't care. I'm talking.
But you're not like that. But you're not like that in real life. That's not you in real life at all. You're a complete opposite of that. I mean, we can be in a room with 5, 6 of us in here, and you're one of the few that doesn't. You don't say much. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that comes from? I've always wondered why too. We're going to deep dive this sometime. Why are wrestlers so damn insecure?
That's a good question. It is. I mean, I know since I was 5, 6 years old, I would tell people I'm going to be a wrestler one day, and they would laugh. They would laugh at you.
Oh, sure.
Bull crap. Go sit down. Go watch TV. You're not doing that. And eventually somebody tells you, or enough people tell you, you're not going to do that. Eventually it's like, you know what? Watch this. I'll see you in a couple of months. Let's go down that route. So, like with the military, I had a few people in my family when I told them I'm joining the Marine Corps. First thing they said was, why? You won't make it. I said, okay, I'll see you when I'm done. And I left and I came back, and then it was, oh my God, you actually did it. I was like, I don't want to talk to you. You didn't believe me then. I don't want your support now.
When someone shows you who they are, believe them, and they showed you who they were. They didn't support you. It's easy for someone to be your friend and be supportive when the times are good. It's when you're in a ditch and you need to get out of the ditch that you find out, like Tracy Lawrence had the song, you find out who your friends are and who your family is, and I think a lot of that kind of behavior is jealousy. And I'll tell you right now, I love to talk mental health, especially with my friends that I can talk about it with. And I don't mind putting it live on the air. I was that kid that, as early as I can remember at 8 years old, it was all right. I'm sitting next to this person in class. I'm talking to them. So the teacher's going to move me. So when she moved me over this side, I started talking to that guy and we became buddies. So then the teacher moved me back to her desk and then I started talking to her because I had to talk to somebody. And over time and through therapy, I've realized I'm a narcissist. I modeled myself after what I was seeing on TV at 505. I was Ric Flair. I was Dusty Rhodes. So I became a narcissist. It shaped me into that. Wrestling did me no favors by watching it because I was those guys. You see what I mean? And so until you understand, oh my God, I am a narcissist. I do these things. There are still residual things left over of that. One is talking. I can't stop that. That is a DNA thing that is in my personality. The problem is, or the change is, I don't have to control the narrative at this point. I can actually sit back and say, when Scottie says, yeah, Rob, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I could say, okay, that's fair. Whereas a narcissist has to somehow change that around to where I own the conversation and I'm always making myself babyface. And it wasn't until therapy and turning 50 that I realized the shit I cared about, nobody else gave a shit about. The shit I thought people cared. What, you didn't know who I was? How do you not know who I am? What the fuck? Google me. How do you not know who I am? How
dare you not know who I am?
I'm so over that at this point, but now I can see it. I was it so long. Birds of a feather flock together. And so I had to limit my friend group and I had to start breaking away from things. And that's why I like going back to these shows that now this world class, I didn't watch the early 80s as a kid. I was Georgia at this time. But I get to watch these shows and relive through different eyes and not that 7, 8, 9-year-old who's made fun in school, who's smaller than everybody else, who's picked on and has to develop a character. And then you begin to develop masks and you put all these fucking masks on and then shit, you're taking them off. You're still fucking Rey Mysterio. You're taking them off. What the fuck? You have to remove all the masks to figure out who you really were and you'll forget what you look like. So I didn't mean to get off on a mental health ramble, but it's interesting to me about wrestlers and their mental health. And they say, well, why do wrestlers die? Why is it a mass number of these wrestlers that die? And people say, well, it's the drugs or or the beating their body up. And yes, that is part of it. Absolutely. But let's get to the root cause. The root cause is mental health. They no longer have that drug of choice, which is the pop of that crowd or the interaction of being able to be the puppet master and control this crowd's up and down.
It's like I've heard a few of them say, live hard, die young, leave a good looking corpse. I mean, that's,
you know what? Brother, I got to agree with that. I've got to agree with that because my biggest fear, Scottie, my biggest fear is, and I told Gene this, my biggest fear is putting off till tomorrow what I'm not going to have the chance tomorrow to do. I'm scared that one day I'm going to wake up and the damn back, man, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, the neck. Oh man, what's going on, man? I can't lift this up above my shoulder. What the hell's going, you know what I'm saying? And at our age, you can't just get repaired the same as a new 20 and 30-year-old engine can get repaired because our engine begins to wear out. So we're doing everything. Yep. And I don't know. It's so all that's scary to me. I just want to try to make, I'm at 52. My mortality tables say we live till 73 and a half is about the average age in Texas of a male, 73 and a half to 78. It's in that area. That means, and dude, if you think about this, that means that I've got roughly about 20 years left. Dude, are you kidding me right now? 20 years when I was 20 sounded like the longest time ever. 20 years now sounds like I'd better get on my business.
Mm-hmm.
I'd better get my business done. You see what I mean? And so, yeah, I want to be able to do it mentally, though. I want to be able to have that mental. And so I always, because I think people come on these shows and they think we put on this happy face and we're blah, blah, blah. Shit, man, we've all got struggles. And I like talking about it. I like being able to say, Scottie, what do you think about this? Because I like the non-judge. That's the other thing about wrestlers and wrestling fans. Those of you that have written to Scottie and I and you've made comments and things like that, we appreciate it. We love you for it. We thank you for it. And we look at that too as there's other like-minded people like us. It's not just the weird kids that, there's other weird kids out there. And, I never want to have a mental health show because I am no counselor. I am not educated in mental health at all. I'm not educated I have no training, nothing. I just know what my experience has been. And once you learn to just be who you are and be still, you learn quickly how to do that. Now, I've always wondered about wrestlers and mental health. And to me, it seems like it is still a crisis.
It's an extreme crisis. Absolutely. Because most of them are the ostracized part of the crowd when you were a kid. Right. That's where most of the wrestlers come from. So,
and they were all made fun of. They were all.
You said birds of a feather flock together.
Sure.
Most wrestlers are some of the strangest people you're going to meet. They're also some of the nicest people you're going to meet. And the nice people people you think are going to be nice are sometimes the biggest jerks you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
So, and that's just part of the game, I guess, so to speak.
I think so. And, the times we live in are unfortunate, but I do have a question. Didn't our parents and didn't our grandparents say the same thing? Our grandparents said the times we're living in are unfortunate.
They're different. They're changing. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. I heard that since I was a kid.
I am a big fan of Hank Williams Jr. Always have been since I was a kid. And Hank has a song where he says, there's a song that he mentions a line in there and that says he can't believe it's $1 a gallon for self-serve gasoline. The song came out in 1981. He said, couldn't believe it was $1 a gallon for self-serve gasoline. And they really upset him with the high price of beef. And this was a 1981 song. So I think it's just the same song, second verse. We're all doing what generations do. We are now becoming the grandparents that get to say, back in my day, and this world's going to shit. And I think it's been every generation that said this.
Absolutely. I do believe that we have brokered into a new career, so to speak, for somebody. We just need a wrestling psychologist.
Oh yeah.
Just have somebody who just sees nothing but wrestlers and ex-wrestlers that knows what's going on and understands where they're coming from.
But the problem is you're going to try to drug that. You're going to try to drug that. You're going to try to Klonopin. You're going to try to do everything from that to Xanax and
those things are the worst.
Any antidepressant, Effexor, Abilify, any of those kind of MAOI and NSAID, or not NSAIDs, but MAOIs, that these depression pills or whatever. And which, look, guys, I'm not knocking that because I'm on 25 milligrams of Celexa every day and have been for 3 years. So I'm a taker of those same types of things. Now I'm only 25 milligrams, and My wife seems to think that it works and has over the last 3 years. Maybe I'm not as edgy, but I also don't know if that's a placebo and could be the pot. Maybe it could be the marijuana, because I have been an effective everyday user now for 3 years. And, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, it's working. I love my wife. I'm not getting divorced. I have buddy, let me tell you something. I have the best life that one man could possibly have. I've got more than I will ever need. I've got more than I've ever deserved ever in my life, more than I do deserve. And I'm just a lucky guy. Now, what do I have to be pissed off about? So that's the way I look at everything, is what do I have to be pissed off about? There's people out here struggling, brother. There's people struggling. It's 109 degrees right now here in Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And there's homeless people out there, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I?
Like to live in this. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's people out there freezing to death, man, in the wintertime. And here I am with perfectly great heat, Christmas tree, and a family around me. You see what I mean?
Why be mad in your own home?
Why be mad in your own home? And so that's kind of where I am. And my life is so good that I didn't ever want to lose that. And so that's why going into therapy was an important thing for me, to make sure that I'm pi R square, that I'm hunky dory. And, I didn't look at it. A lot of the other problem is too many people look at therapy as a weakness. And until you get out of that, you're never gonna better yourself. You sometimes, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes you just got to cry, brother. Sometimes you just got to let it out. You got to have a good cry. And if a man comes up to me, I don't give a shit if it's Abdullah the Butcher, Bruiser Brody, on down to BT. You come up to me and you're hurting and you're crying, I'm gonna put my arms around you. I'm gonna hug you. I'm gonna let you cry it out. And there's no, look, this guy here, he's a pussy. No, dude, that ain't the way it works. It takes a grown ass man to stand there and let his emotions out. That's a grown ass man. And so, yeah, I'm big on, man, these guys that leave it in and all that. I feel for them. I wish they could get it out. And maybe one day we'll be able to have some kind of show somewhere where we can have a safe space for people to just come in and talk to us. Because you know what? We've all been there. We've all been there. So, well, thank everybody.
Nothing wrong.
Oh, go ahead.
There is nothing wrong with any form of therapy whatsoever, whether it's personal therapy, family therapy, group therapy, grief therapy, anything. Just talking to somebody is going to make you feel 1,000 times better no matter what. Unless it's Iceman King Parsons and then he wants 4,000 to talk to him. So fuck that guy. Oh, fuck that guy's come out. And on that note, we thank you for watching. Next week, we're going to have the review, and then we're getting to where the Freebirds come in. My name is Robb Helt. That's Scottie Wince. I love BT's mama. Take us out of here. We're the Texas Bunch. See ya.